Hey everybody, I'm gonna move this down just a little bit. I am Twerky. Um, so this is the first time I'm doing one of these. This is a movie review. And I'm just gonna do this kind of quick, just not even really gonna, you know, do any effects or anything like that because I'm lazy as all hell. Um, so the movie I saw today was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Michael Bay produced one. Josh Lee, or sorry, not Josh. Is it Josh? Rob Liebsman, I think is his name, is the director. Um, eh, eh, Honestly, the movie wasn't terrible. Surprisingly. Um, but I don't know. I felt like there. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind when you go into this movie is Megan Fox is going to be April O'Neil. Um, wasn't a terrible April. Actually, seemed like she could act in this, um, which really kind of blew my mind. Considering I know her from, I mean, as everybody does, the Transformers stuff, and her saying that Michael Bay was like Hitler and all this crap. So I went into it with, fairly low expectations when it came to her. Pleasantly surprised. She was great. And then Will Arnett is the guy who was Vern, and he did a great job. I thought he was friggin' hilarious. Um, And originally, this movie, kind of shifting gears, originally this movie was supposed to be, when Michael Bay broke the news that he was going to be doing this, that the turtles were going to be aliens. And I saw the video of him say that in front of, I think it was Comic-Con. And what's funny is I always made the joke that because the clip always ended right after he said, these turtles are different, these turtles are going to be aliens. I always made the joke that because the clip ended right there, somebody after that cocked a shotgun and they had to cut the video there because people were going to kill Michael Bay. And because of such a negative response, I guess he actually decided to change up the story back to what it was originally. Same thing with William Fisher, I believe is the actor's name. Originally, William Fisher um, was supposed to be Shredder, and which threw everybody off. Not because oh, one race of person has to be these characters, but I forget who it was in the internet, but I heard on a review that if it's the Mandarin's kind of a symbol, even though the Mandarin is supposed to be Chinese. Um, with Human Torch from Fantastic Four, he's not going to be playing by Michael B. Jordan. The Human Torch, I think, has had a comic incarnation, I think, in the Ultimate Universe, where he is African American, and everybody was saying, why the hell is um, a white guy going to play the Shredder? Because Shredder is supposed to be a guy whose name is literally Oroku Saki. It's Japanese. It's extremely Japanese. So that kind of threw everybody off. And like going into it, major spoilers, by the way. I probably should have said that at the beginning of this, but I'm going to be talking about the whole thing. Um, they actually have an actor who is actually the Shredder and is actually Japanese, which blows my mind. I was so happy about that because I remember I left the theater saying, "Oh my god, all the crap that this movie got early on um, was surprisingly changed." everything was changed. The turtles were not aliens; they're mutants again. Um, the the fact that everybody thought that Megan Fox was going to be awful. I don't know how everybody else feels about her. I actually thought she did a pretty funny job. I thought the turtles looked great. I liked how the turtles were all different sizes. I was a little depressed that Raph, who is my favorite turtle, um, was ridiculously steroided out. Um, and getting on the turtles, then shifting gears now to the specific turtles and Splinter, and I'll get to Splinter in a second because Splinter is, well, actually, you know what? Then I'll just talk about Splinter first. Um, Splinter's voice is voiced by Tony Shalhoub, which, if you guys don't know who that is, that's the guy who is from the show Monk. That's him. Um, and what's funny is I didn't know that that was Tony Shalhoub while I was watching it. I waited until the end credits and found out that it was Tony Shalhoub. He was a great voice of Splinter. He sounded Asian, but still sounded like he was American at the same time, which was interesting. And also, the other interesting thing was in all of the incarnations, Splinter learns ninjutsu from his master Yoshi. And in this, Splinter, and the Turtles are lab experiments that were injected with the ooze, which is, the origins of them in the beginning. But that as they're growing up, Splinter actually finds ninjutsu like katas, and learns them himself, and then starts teaching the turtles after he's mastered them, which is a little bit of a tweak, but not far off. But anyway, the point is that it's just interesting to see his, Splinter's gradual form into, this master, and then starts teaching the turtles. That being said, I like the character. Like I said, I like the voice. The CGI on him was really weird. I won't lie. His art for him was probably, in my opinion, the least liked. I love Splinter. I love Splinter. I grew up on the Turtles. I've always loved Splinter. I kind of always wanted, you know, I always thought that it'd be cool to, be under, be a student to somebody like that. I always thought that'd be kind of cool, where they were like super, you know, humble. And I'm a martial artist, and before, if my sensei ever sees this, my sensei is extremely humble as well. And so I got my wish in that instance. The one thing that was interesting was they actually made Splinter kind of funny in this too. But I mean, Splinter's always kind of got like that dry humor to him. But when the turtles, break curfew and they come back, Splinter, comes up and just basically kicks their asses and makes, them train really, really freaking hard after that. And of course, Mikey's the one who screws everything up for everybody. The one really cool thing I will say, and this goes for all of the choreography in this movie was freaking awesome. One really cool thing I did notice about Splinter is they actually used his tail. Like, Splinter isn't just a rat, who swings around a sword or a cane or throwing stars. He actually uses his tail in combat and uses it like, a fifth limb, which, we haven't seen before, which is really nice. And he's really good with it. So that's my view on Splinter. Great voice acting, great choreography. Not so great art, but decent. Like I said, my least liked. Okay, now we get to the turtles. Um, so I don't know who any of the guys who were the turtles, except for Johnny Knoxville was the voice of Leonardo. Um, Mikey was funny, as he's supposed to be. Donatello was intelligent, although the one thing about Donatello is they may have made him a little overly nerd. Um, just because he does some really unnecessary crap. Like when April meets up with them, he gives her like a retinal scan, and that even Leonardo says, yeah, we get it, because he goes, oh, confirming this is April O'Neil, and Leo even walks up and just goes, obviously, Donnie, we can tell that this is April. So I think they made Donnie a little too tech crazy, if that makes sense. Um, like I said with Raph, they just made him super steroided out. Leo, you know, the other three look really cool. Leo looks really cool. Like the CGI on the turtles is really good. But the one thing I would say, and this is a friend of mine, I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Ryan and my other friend Mark here on this. Um, when last time I talked to them about the turtles, they were extremely skeptical, like I was, um, and I haven't talked to them since before I made this video, so um, I can't weigh in on their opinions. But at the time, they had said something really interesting. They said when they saw the trailers and they saw the posters for the turtles, it just basically looked like stereotypical surfer guy for Mikey, stereotypical tech guy for Donnie, stereotypical uh, roided out angry guy for Raph, and stereotypical leader for Leonardo. And I mean, to me, that actually is kind of what the turtles are. Um, I had to move a pillow. Um, but it gave the creators of this movie, in my opinion, the opportunity to flush out the characters in the stereotypes. Because I mean, let's face it, that kind of is what the turtles are. They are these stereotypes, but they're funny as hell and they're cool, and the way they work off of each other is really nice. Um, but the problem for me is, when we were talking about this, they brought up, if they flesh out these stereotypes, the one that we would really like to see really nicely fleshed out is Leonardo. And I don't know. I feel like he kind of did, but maybe not enough. You know, I think he was really well portrayed. Johnny Knoxville's voice coming out of him didn't bother me that much. But looking back at it, I'm just going, wow, Johnny Knox. It wasn't like that's Leo's voice. It was, wow, that's Johnny Knoxville as the voice of Leonardo. Everybody else was like, okay, I can get behind. That's Mikey's voice. That's Donnie's voice. That's Raph's voice. Leo's, like I said, it was like, oh, that's Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo. Um, but, as for the actual interaction of the characters, all the turtles interacted really nicely together. I thought it was really good. The interaction between April and Vern was really nice. Um, William Fisher was the guy who I was saying was the guy who was originally supposed to be Shredder. He is still in the movie, but he's a different role. He's Shredder's student. He plays the character known as Eric Sachs, and he is a decent character in there as well. A little lame. I think that's the thing for everybody's character in this movie. Everybody's good and slightly lame. Even Shredder, and Shredder looks so badass. Okay, so I don't know who the actor is who plays him. I probably should have researched that before I started doing this, but he he's, his actual body is kept in the shadows throughout basically the whole movie. You see like little things here and there of him. You hear him talk. He talks to Karai. Sorry, I forgot to mention Karai is in this movie. She really doesn't do that much, and kind of crappily gets her ass kicked a few times, which always kind of pisses me off because I'm a fan of like the 2002. Like I grew up with the 80s and 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles way back in the day, and then the live action Turtles movies, and when they crossed over with the Power Rangers, and then like I said, the 2002. That's my favorite incarnation of the Turtles is the 2002 uh, uh, Fox Kids, Teenage Mutant Turtles one. That one was really, really good. Um, and that's what I think of. Um, and Karai in that was so awesome. And even in the TMNT movie, that was the CGI movie that like everybody gives crap to, I still like that movie to a degree, mostly because Patrick Stewart's in it. But that's just me. But you know, Karai, it just pissed me off because Karai literally did nothing, and she can offer so much to a story, and she's supposed to be like a child to Shredder also, and I just don't feel that from her. But getting back to Shredder, Shredder's really cool. The character's really cool. I do feel like we don't get enough of him, like enough of his character. He just sort of feels like that looming bad guy in the background. But he's when he actually starts fighting, the fight with Splinter's awesome. When he fights the turtles at the end, it's awesome. The suit for the Shredder suit looks freaking crazy. I mean, some people I know have mixed feelings on that. I think it looks great. A lot of people would say that I'm very easy to please, you know, but I mean, some of the jokes fall flat in this movie. Some of them don't. It's a very hit and miss type of film. Um, you know, I guess the way that I would sum this up is Megan Fox, believe it or not, I'd actually give an A in this movie. Vern, Will Arnett, sorry, I'd give him probably a B plus. The four guys who are the turtle actors, I'd all give A's to. Splinter, I'd give an A to Tony Shalhoub as the voice actor. Um, William Fisher, like I said, he's got some good moments. I'd probably give him a B though, still. Just because, especially at the end, if you guys go to see this movie, at the end he goes from being this kind of James Bond kind of character mixed with like the clan from the Wolverine, and that movie's great. That Turtles kind of has a vibe to it like the Wolverine. Um, and they try to fuse that in, and then at the end, William Fisher just like he goes from being a Bond villain to like this guy who's just like this teenager who just wants money. And the line that really did it for me, there's a line that he says where he just goes, yeah, so Shredder is going to unleash, all of this virus on on the city of New York, and then I'm gonna come in with my, millions of dollars, and, give the miracle cure, and I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be like stupid rich. That's actually a real line. Is he actually says, "I'm going to be stupid rich," and it's like it's laughable. And I felt really bad because at the beginning of the movie he's so cool. And then at the end, it's like, dude, you sucked all the cool out of him. That I really hope Megan Fox or Will Arnett beats you over the head with a microscope. But summing this all up, the last thing I do want to talk about is the story. Now, yes, it's a Bay film, so yeah, story is gonna be kind of shitty. Um, but like as for like an origin movie, this really wasn't that bad. This movie is not supposed to be about the story, in my opinion. To be honest, at the end, I didn't really give a crap about what the hell they were trying to accomplish because it just felt like a Saturday morning cartoon to me. It's the turtles kicking the Shredder's ass at the end, and I don't really care about anything else, man. It was the turtles kicking Shredder's ass. So, um, because the story was really what the fuck, I do have to give the story a D plus. It is what it is. So we take the decent acting for the most part, in my opinion. Decent. And the special effects, I'd probably give the special effects a B. So if we take all of that kind of put together, my final kind of grade on the movie is it's about a C plus. B minus at best. It's a fun movie, stupid story. Don't get me wrong, but the main reason why you should go to this is because if you want to see a really story driven movie, don't go to it. If you want to see a whole bunch of, uh, if you want to feel nostalgia and you want to see a whole bunch of really cool effects and see the turtles, um, going out there, kicking ass, Shredder kicking ass, Splinter kicking ass. Um, and if you want to give Megan Fox an actual acting chance, this actually is the movie that I would say do it. She actually, that still gets me, is she actually does a good solid acting job in this. She's not just there to be this, you know, oh, I've got big tits, I've got a great ass, stare at me the whole time, I've got no character. She actually does kind of embody what April O'Neil is. So it's, like I said, on the whole, I'd probably give this a C plus, a C plus, a B minus, at best. So it's a fun movie. Go see it. Don't expect it to be extremely story driven because it's just not. So yeah, I am Twerky, also known as Twerking Wolf. Yes, Twerking Wolf, bite me. And yeah,